Hello, everyone. This is Debra Poneman, and I am so excited to be interviewing Jafree Ozwald. I spoke with him earlier today, and within a few moments, I personally felt a shift just from being in the space of his open heart and hearing his great laugh, which I know you'll get a taste of in a few minutes. This series is all about discovering new ways to make our lives really work. As I'm sure we can all agree, our lives are accelerating and shifting before our eyes, and much of what we used to rely on as stable and dependable is falling away. And now, more than ever, we need to have knowledge and tools to get us through what many perceive as challenging times. For this series, I've brought together amazing people whose lives are dedicated to bringing us these tools and techniques so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel and figure it all out on our own, but rather just listen to their powerful knowledge and implement the tools that they are giving us so that we can live happier, healthier, and more enlightened existences. And if there is anyone who has something amazing to offer us, it is Jafree Ozwald. So, Joffrey, welcome.
Thank you, Debra.
Thank you. Hey, I want to tell everyone a little bit about you before we begin. Is that okay?
Sure.
All right. I love your story, and I'll tell a little of it, and then you can tell the rest. But even as a child, Joffrey was enamored by the mystical, magical, and supernatural people of this world, and he had a deep curiosity to know the truth and to understand what would awaken this world so that everyone could experience themselves as powerful, loving, divine beings connected to God. And this curiosity is what led him into his journey, which took him to India to discover the spiritual path he's on today. In 1995, at the age of 25, while in India, where he traveled to discover the answers to the many deep questions he had about life, and where he spent many hours in spiritual practice and deep meditation, Joffrey had an experience that we can really only call self-realization, where he realized he was no longer the doer, but rather a witness to the doing, and that he was one with everyone and everything in the universe. And that supreme state, dominated by a profound inner silence, transformed his life. He no longer gets wrapped up in the suffering that's created by the mind, because he knows that he is beyond both that inner world and the outer world. And Joffrey has devoted his life to sharing what he's learned so that we can all do the same, thus transforming our own lives and ultimately the world. I might add a quote from Joffrey where he says, "There are no accidents or coincidences in this world. Nothing is by chance. Everything you're experiencing is a direct manifestation of where you're focusing your energy, attention, and consciousness," end quote, which is why I believe that whoever is listening to us today, well, it's not by chance. So now, my friend, can you tell us a little bit more about your journey, and then we'll speak about how people can increase their manifesting abilities and reinvent themselves to create the world they've been dreaming of. But I would love to know a little bit more about you.
Okay. Well, thank you for that introduction. It was very touching, just the way you put it. My journey began officially when my dad died. He committed suicide in 1993. And just for anybody out there who has gone through a trauma or pain, emotional relationship breakup, or any divorce or anything like that, it is definitely a spark for a deep, deep spiritual awakening, a spiritual search. And again, there are no accidents in this world, that our souls are here to discover this divinity inside us, this power, this ability to know ourselves as the divine, that we aren't separate from this higher consciousness, this higher power, where we feel completely loved, that we are the source of love itself. And sometimes we need to sort of hit the bottom of the barrel before, we can wake up and realize, the real truth of our being. So when my dad exited this planet, there was such a deep search inside of me of, what is this all about? Why are we here? And what am I doing here? And I just started to look inside, and I stopped looking on the outer world for anything, distractions. The people, normal people were seeking whatever in the outer world, their relationship with money or, success in career and whatnot. And none of that was important to me at all at that time. And I just looked inside and said, what is this that is looking, that is hearing, that is seeing, that is listening? And I just kept focusing on that. There was nothing more amazing. There's nothing more profound for me to just keep investigating what that was. It seemed multidimensional. It seemed like it was beyond time, beyond space, beyond all causality, that there was no beginning, no end to it. And I just kept diving into it more and more and more. And of course, this is basically what meditation is this surrendering to this experience of our essence, of this consciousness, this presence. And so I just kept going and going deeper, and other teachers kept pointing me in, and that always helps. I recommend meeting as many different teachers as you can out there, because they all have different ways of enlightening us and directing us on a different path inwards to the same place. And so I met this man, Papaji, in India in 1995. And what happened was so profound. I still to this day, it's as if it happened yesterday. It's, there was like an atomic bomb that went off inside of my being. And what was left after that explosion inside me was this profound silence, that there was no more of this mind chatter. There was no more of this this intense yearning to get somewhere, to become better, to improve myself, or to improve my life, to make my life better. And it's kind of an oxymoron, or it's very ironic, because as soon as that urge, that neediness drops, then all of a sudden we drop into this divine state, this enlightened state, which is already the peak of consciousness itself is already here now, but the mind's in the way. We can't necessarily reach it through the mind. We have to drop the mind to reach this enlightened state. And so everything that we think is the way it should be is really the opposite. There's, the mind makes all sorts of stories up about who we are and who our relationship is and our job and our money or situation. And we just, I think it's really important to not buy into the mind and all of its fabricated ideas, because at some point, you're going to have to prove it wrong. You're going to have to drop it. You're going to have to say, well, the opposite is true too. That if I'm totally suffering and struggling in my relationship, well, there's going to be a point where you're going to be free. You're going to be absolutely in bliss and in a state of cosmic consciousness. So I think it can happen sooner than later, especially when we become more and more conscious of what's happening inside of our thinking processes and our feeling processes, and saying, well, okay, this too shall pass, and we're going to have another experience that may completely contradict it. So why get caught up in this drama or this story? Because the opposite is on its way. If we're stuck in poverty for years, abundance is coming, like a steam train towards us. So it's just about really learning how to let go of any attachment to any sort of idea or situation or seriousness that we may take our lives or ourselves in that manner, because it's very transitional. we're not here for a very long time, this planet, in this physical form. And so we just need to really accept that, each moment, there is a moment for tremendous, tremendous transformation. And as this atomic bomb, proved to me that, one moment I was just sitting there, normal, nothing was, out of the extraordinary. And then all of a sudden, boom, there was nothing left. There was no thought. There was just pure, deep silence for eternity, infinity. And, all I saw was myself in everyone and everything. I remember walking around India and just looking at everything as just pure energy. And people were, I could see, and I look on the sides of people's bodies, and I could see that there was this light aura, there's this essence of radiate light that was coming off of everyone, and not just people, but everything. And I just saw that that we are all made of this beautiful, beautiful energy that we don't necessarily see because the mind is in the way. So you may think that I'm saying, the mind is our enemy, but we need the mind to transcend the mind. It is an enemy and it's not. It's your best friend when you can befriend it, when you can step back from it and realize that it's like this wild animal, this beast that is untamed. And when you can bring your mind into not necessarily control, but a place of surrender, where your mind surrenders to you, because you're not the mind, right? When your mind surrenders to you, then there is this deep place of peace, which is much more amazing than power or control, which is mostly what people are trained to run after. Like the rat and cheese, it wants that bigger cheese. And a lot of people, that's where we're brought up, thinking, well, we have more money, more power, more control, we're going to be happier. But really, all that's really going to give us, if we get all that, then what? What's next? Well, we get to relax. We get to actually take a break and go deeper inside to this place of divinity, this place of peace, this place where the soul resides, where your infinite nature is, where you can find this state of unification with the divine, with the being that you really are, this beloved, loving consciousness that only knows love. It doesn't really know anything else. It really isn't anything else. It's just the mind gets in the way and starts to make up all sorts of interesting fabrications. So, that's what meditation is for. That's why it's so important to learn how to meditate, how to bring the mind to stillness, how to bring the body into a state of peak vibration, because that brings the mind out of its sort of typical, ordinary pathways that it thinks the same 60,000 thoughts that it thought yesterday and the day before. It doesn't really go off track that much until we wake up. And then when we wake up, then we realize that at every point in the day, in each moment, there is an infinite number of paths that we can choose to think upon. As far as what do we want to think about today? What's your priority for this day, for this moment of your life? If this was the last week of your life, what would you think about? What would you focus on? What thoughts would you choose to have about yourself or your relationships or your life? And why not choose them, right? Because we never know when our time's up. I mean, I think on some level we'll intuitively know, but there's a sense of the mystery that we just don't know. And that's what makes life so amazing, is because there's this element of death. And if we can embrace that, then we really become alive. It's, go ahead.
Well, I have a question, because you had this experience in India of going into the state, which I know is called Samadhi, and you had this experience of seeing the unity of all things, to see the aura, the energy around not just people, but around the cows and the trees and the rocks. And it happened on the heels of your being in deep meditation for many hours a day. How about the rest of us who are at home with their kids and doing laundry and carpool, or we're in a busy office and we work, 14 hours a day, and we don't spend our time in deep meditation, but instead in front of a computer or an assembly line or at Chuck E. Cheese? I mean, is it possible for us to achieve the state that you're talking about? And if it is possible, is there something that we can do to hasten our journey towards that place where you see the perfection of all things?
Yeah, absolutely. What happened to me was not that I was just sitting in one place for many hours a day. I maybe would sit for 45 minutes. I'd get up really early and go to bed early and just sit and just bring the mind into a stillness as long as I could. But that wasn't enough. What really shifted was when I was, wherever I was going, I was being the center of this infinite universe, because every point in an infinite field of space is the center of that infinite field. And I realized this. I realized that everything is the center of the universe. Everybody is the center of the universe. Everything. And so I realized, okay, that's me too. So this body is the center. And so I was walking around as the center of this universe. And it can be seen as very egocentric, but when you realize everything is the center, then it's not egocentric. It's multidimensional thinking. And so everything I was doing was, whether it was drinking chai or I was talking to a friend or whatever it was, I was in a state of meditation. So you could be driving and you could be the center of your being. You could be doing dishes and just experiencing the warm water going over your hands and just being in the moment, being the center of that experience and dropping deep into a deep state of a relaxed body, receiving the experience, the sensations, whatever it is that's coursing through your skin, your veins, your blood. There's an experience of life in each moment, and it's juicy. And so when we drop into each moment of life, it becomes a meditation. So, and it gets trickier the more busy we become, and that's why I think it's really key to simplify your life as much as you possibly can, so that you don't have too much on your plate, that you're not overly busy, that you're not taking on too much, that there's this sense of lack of time or lack of resources, that you get into that sort of thinking because that only creates more of this contraction, this fear. And it gets even harder, the more that you take on, more of life in that matter, thinking that you've got, 28 hours in the day when you really only have 24. So we really, I think it's essential that we all come back to the center and just do less, and you'll accomplish more on the spiritual path for sure, because you'll have more of a sense of spaciousness, because there's not one thing after the other all day long, and you're just pressure, because, it creates a pressure cooker inside of you, which causes people to pop at one point. And if you're centered in that moment, you can pop into a spiritual awakening, where I've heard, I've worked with a lot of people, and they just give up on their whole life. They end their relationships, they end their jobs, they end everything because it was too much pressure, and they just popped. And that's when their spiritual path began. But you can embrace and integrate and slowly create the life that you want, that works for you. If you have, say, 5 kids or something, it's like, how can I, delegate my time, to myself, accordingly, where I can have alone time and I can spend time with my children, but I'm not so overly just overwhelmed all the time. And I think that's so essential that we use the community around us, that we embrace our friends and family as much as we can so our lives can have, more a sense of relaxation in them, where we can really enjoy whatever we're doing. It doesn't matter.
And so I think what I hear you saying is that one of the ways we can do that, because sometimes we're like, oh, he doesn't know, I have to put food on the table and I have these 5 kids. But I think what you're saying is that if you do notice each moment, like I love that image you used of just feeling the water while you're washing your hands. Whoever stops to feel the water, whoever stops to be present in the present moment when you're driving the car, when you're sitting at the dinner table, put the food, get the kids, and just stop and be present and feel the air coming out of the heater and feel the food, in your mouth. And what you're saying is that by doing that in the present moment, it will then help you to slow down more. Is that true?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's essential that we make it a priority. And you can't just force priorities upon yourself. You have to really see the benefit. It's not even a have to. It's a huge get to. Like, you really get to see, well, what's the benefit of the spiritual path? Because I've heard, I don't know who said it, but all problems can be solved through a spiritual solution after age 40. And everything before that, there's other solutions. But it's like, if that's true, then, the spiritual path is the answer that a lot of us are looking for. And so if we can just honor that, how powerful it is, how life-changing it is to understand that you are an infinite being that is never going to die, that only changes form, that has the ability to manifest, to attract, to create whatever your heart desires. Anything is possible when you realize that you are this infinite spiritual being. And so, what more do you want? It's like you just won the big jackpot, and now you get to go spend all that money, that whatever it is, the energy, the consciousness, the love, and you have an infinite supply. And a lot of people, I think, they don't realize that they can tap into an infinite supply of energy, that there is an infinite supply at the base of their spine, this reservoir of Kundalini, they call it in India, that is this powerful energy that has no end to it. It's what heals the body. It's what awakens the spirit. It brings the mind into pinpointed, this focused awareness in this moment. It burns through all your karma, all the blocks, all the fears, everything that you feel is in your way, where you say, I can't be in this moment. I've got too much on my mind. This energy awakens inside you. And I've developed some habits to help you, and some tools and techniques that will bring this awakening forth. And it's just a matter of being willing to make it a priority. It really is. When you wake up in the morning, it's like you think about what's important to me. What's the most important thing that I can focus on today, that I'm going to do with my time today? And if you get really clear on what that is, even if it's, okay, I got to come up with the money to pay my electric bill, it's like, okay, so how can we do that in a way where we're having fun, where we're taking it as, this fun game, that life is this huge playground where we have these amazing tools where we can attract and manifest and create whatever we want, whatever situation. If we just get in touch with that infinite part of ourselves that is, it's mysterious, it's powerful, it's all-knowing, it is the God source itself. And so the mind can't get it. The mind can't wrap its head around it because it's too big. The mind is a small little container of the truth, of who we are, of what is. And so it can't grasp it all. And so we could talk about it forever, but to drop into it, to experience it, that's the essence. That's the juice. And so, go ahead.
I have another question.
Sure.
Well, one of the things that you said is that many of us were I guess you would say attached. We're attached to thinking that the more we do, the more money we'll make, the more effort we put out, the better our relationship will be. And I think that what you're saying is it's the opposite, that letting go seems to be what it takes to get to that place where everything then becomes effortless. That's a real contradiction to the way most of us have lived our lives. It doesn't seem that easy for those of us, especially those of us who like to be in control, for us to just simply let go. Can you give us some more techniques or tools how we can actually do that?
Yeah, well, first I want to say that there's three sides to every coin, right? You got the heads, you got the tails, and then there's the edge between them. So on one side of the coin, we have control. We need to be in control of our mind, our reality, our world. We need to control maybe our kids or whatever. We have this control issue. And then the other side, we have surrender. We have letting go. We have trust. We have this ability to be free. And what I'm suggesting is not oscillating between both sides, but finding that middle path that is free from both. That is not about trying to surrender, not about trying to be in control. It's about getting really curious about what is beyond those both. Like what's it like to be free from control and free from surrender, free from everything, and to truly be in this moment. And that's the koan, that's the Zen koan to bring you into this truth, this divine being that is at the core of your heart, of your soul, of your energy. That when you really bring your attention inwards, when you're, even right now, like a technique for this moment would be just to go inside and listen from a place of listening, like true listening. How are you listening to this conversation? And who's listening? And looking through your eyes, like, well, who's looking through these eyes around me right now? And just bringing your awareness to that awarenessness, whatever it is that is aware. Okay, so this brings you to that middle edge of the coin where you're not in control. You don't need to be in control, right? And you also don't have to fix yourself. There's nothing wrong with you, right? That's the problem, is people get caught up in these ideas that there's something wrong. And so they spend thousands of dollars or whatever, trying to fix themselves. And really it's wrapped up in the idea that there's something wrong, right? We are manifesting machines. We're always manifesting something. So if we're thinking constantly, there's something wrong with me. Oh my gosh, I can't sleep. I don't know how to sleep. Well, guess what? You're going to manifest. You're going to manifest insomnia, and just like, oh, I can't do it. So it's really about being more clear on the awareness that is aware of these thoughts. It's dropping a level deeper inside to going beneath the dream, within the dream that you're dreaming right now, this whole life. Your thoughts are just flowing through you. And the more you can step inside to that conscious place that is always conscious, like you don't have to create it. You're already conscious. You're already consciousness itself. It already is what it is forever. And you can't change it. You can't destroy it. You can't promote it. You can't sell it. It is who you are. And that's the joy, is that you can just drop into it. You don't even have to drop into it. It is this moment. And it's so simple. And it's so profound. But we miss it.
Yes, because then at the same time, what you've told me is that manifesting in this third dimension reality, like manifesting one's soulmate or improving the relationship that you're in with the person who you thought was your soulmate, but it doesn't feel like that anymore. Mm-hmm. For example, that's a big desire people have, to manifest that, or, to manifest success. What you have said is that by getting to that place, then the manifestation of these other things, relationships, money, this, that, comes more effortlessly. Is that true?
Yeah, it comes absolutely with no effort. When your vibration, I call it your manifesting vibration. So we carry around a frequency, an energy that, like on a scale of a piano, there's certain notes that you tend to play. Maybe you might play a sense of joy, during your day, and that's a pretty high frequency. And so when you start playing those high notes, happiness, gratitude, joy, just being thankful for what you have instead of focusing on what you don't have, that increases your manifesting vibration, which allows you to effortlessly attract more of what you want. Okay, it just comes to you naturally. Naturally we are manifesting magnets. Okay, we were born that way. You can't change that. Okay, but what you can change is your vibration. There is such thing as free will, right? Even though predestination is also real, but there's also free will that we can focus on anything, any moment, right? Yeah. And so we have the free will to focus on something that we're grateful for. Yeah. And in that moment, we raise our frequency and we step up our vibration so that we attract that which we want. Because the thing is like attracts like. And so the moment you get that, whatever it is, a new car or your soulmate, you're going to feel pretty good. You're going to be like, woohoo, I'm so excited. We finally met. We're connecting. We're having a great time. So that's a high frequency. So if you can get there, if you're speaking there, thinking from there, living from there, your heart's there, then that vibration will attract that similar situation or person. So, and the thing is that it's not to judge yourself. If you're having a bad day, and you're going down into the gullies, into the trenches of depression or sadness or anger or resistance to all of that, denial, it's like, okay, like my vibration may be really low and I'm struggling and life is really, really hard. Honor that experience. It is also divine, right? I mean, the God source is in everything, every atom, every molecule, every quark, that's out there in this quantum field of energy, including those things, especially those things that we think it's not in. And so when we can actually bow down and sort of kiss the feet of depression or patheticness or anger or whatever we're facing, right? We just kiss the feet of that saboteur energy that is riding us. We actually transcend it. And that's where one really steps into mastery of one's life, is when they can look inside and just face all their demons and be like, okay, where's the next demon? Where's the next negative thinking pattern that is running my life crazy? Where I'm not willing to look at it. I'm staying so busy so I don't have to deal with it, right? Or whatever. I may be intoxicating myself with alcohol or drugs or whatever, just so that I can numb myself out so I don't have to feel the pain, right? I mean, it's just about meeting that which you can't meet. And when you do, then you open up the field of energy inside you. Your entire energy field increases in vibration because you dealt with the muck. There's a diamond in the muck and it's hidden. And so when we actually meet ourselves on all levels, we can really, welcome all those parts of ourself that are hidden. We can go into the subconscious or unconscious and be like, oh, wow, this thing from my childhood is still bothering me. What would it be like to be at peace with that, to see it for what it is and just honor it for whatever it is, that it had to be there for this reason, to teach me this lesson, to help me become this person, to have compassion for this group of people, to become a better planet for whatever reason. And you sit long enough with a part of yourself that you don't appreciate, eventually you'll get to a place of actually peace with it. It's kind of like if you sit with an enemy in a closed room for long enough, eventually you guys will look in each other's eyes and be like, well, you're just like me. You're just a human being, with frailties and faults and insecurities, and I don't have to be afraid of you. It's we see the divine, in others. As soon as we can see it in ourselves, we see it everywhere. And vice versa. If we can see it everywhere, then we can also see it within. And so you can start wherever you're at. If I think a lot of people, they try to replace the negative with the positive. Oh my God, I had a negative thought. I got to change that thought. And then they're not actually going to the root, the deeper root, which is perpetually, putting out this negativity. It's a deeper source root of something inside of us that is a pattern, a program that has created this whirlwind of negativity, emotional activity that spews out these negative thoughts. And it's like, okay, where's the beginning? Where did this start? And if I can go deep enough inside, you'll find that place. And that's where life really transforms, is when you do the work. You go inside and you be really, really patient with yourself and take the time, go to bed early and make the adventure, to go inside and explore that which you don't want to explore.
Well, a few things that you said. First of all, I'm going to share with you a quote from the great Napoleon Hill. He says when he sees obstacles or these kind of inner blocks, he says, I don't avoid it. I say to it, well, hello, little fellow. I don't know what it is you've come to teach me, but whatever it is, I'm going to learn it so well that you won't have to come back a second time.
Oh, great.
But I think that what you're saying is that, and I love, there was a quote that I read somewhere that you said that feeling lost is some kind of a gift. I think you said it's fuel for creating a great inner adventure. Yes, that was it. Feeling lost is fuel for creating a great inner adventure. I don't know if I got that exactly right, but I see what you're saying is that when you fall, when you make a mistake, when you're feeling, contracted, instead of covering it up, like putting a coat of paint over it, even though it's not really covering it up, instead going deeper and asking what the gift is. What are you there to teach me? What are you there to teach me? And then when you get to the core, you will see the gift. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. It just revealed itself. We don't, it's like a real gift. It's just given to you. Your ability to receive it is just about staying open. It's like an open palm versus a closed fist. If you're trying to control the situation, trying to micromanage your universe, then you're not open to receiving any gifts.
Yeah.
But the universe is constantly giving us gifts in each moment. Where they're just sitting in a room all alone by ourselves. There are epiphanies that are available that can make you, get tingly all over your body, make you sing and dance and celebrate life. It's all available.
Yeah. And, I was going to ask you that you would actually take us through a heart meditation for a few minutes. Would you be willing to do that?
Sure, absolutely. So yeah, wherever you are, take a moment to just sit down, get relaxed, let your body just relax. Close your eyes and just pay attention to your breath and just notice your body breathing. The breath is going in and out. And just notice what that's like to just feel your body breathing. Your body is breathing for you. And you don't have to do anything. Your body will continue to breathe for you and through you. And just watch. Watch the breath as it moves in and out on its own accord. And so just gently move your attention to your heart. And inside your heart, I want you to imagine that the sun, this beautiful, huge, amazing ball of fire, is now inside your heart. This golden, glowing ball of light, this warmth, is inside your heart, taking over your entire heart and chest. It may be the size of a melon or grapefruit. And just feel what it's like to have this warm, golden ball of light in the middle of your chest right now. And just surrender to this golden sun, radiating light inside the middle of your chest. Notice that the light from the sun carries through your body and radiates outside of your body, through your skin. So all around your body is this aura of light, golden light. This golden light is protecting you, healing you, allowing you to relax even deeper inside. And just noticing that this amazing sun in your heart space is so powerful that it's infinite. And as your breath moves in and out, it is as if it's stoking the fire eternally, this infinite light, this perpetual warmth. And that you don't have to do anything. You can just sit here and relax. And your breath will continually stoke the fire, allowing your heart to get even brighter and brighter. And the brighter your heart becomes, we notice that it tends to consume any thoughts, fears, worries, concerns, problems. They just get pulled in by the magnetic pull of the sun. The sun just happily consumes anything that your mind may be gnawing on. Gets pulled into the heart. And just allowing for whatever experience you're having, knowing that it's the right experience, this moment in your journey. And that the more often that you can visualize and feel this golden sun in the middle of your chest, the warmer your life, your relationships will all become. The easier your life is going to become. that this warm sun inside you will just continue on its own. The more you focus on it, the more it will grow and have a life of its own, where you can relax into this warmth, as if you're just sitting by a campfire and just enjoying the heart of the fire. And just letting anything and everything fall into this fire to be transmuted, purified, and awakened to a higher frequency, a higher consciousness, where you can find a deeper freedom, more profound love for yourself, for others, for this world. You can become a brighter being for the planet. And so just making the intention to start your day, your morning, meditating on this sun, this solar energy inside your heart, stoking the fire, allowing everything to fall into it, to be consumed by this loving warmth that consumes everything and anything happily. And just seeing yourself start your day and walking throughout your day with this glowing, warm, healing ball of light radiating from your heart. And just noticing people's faces light up the moment they see you, because you, carrying such a bright, brilliant energy, and changing everyone's life everywhere you go, because you're in tune, aligned with this infinite source, this infinite light that is coming from your breath, from this moment. And so you can just relax and know that everything is taken care of, that your body is going to do everything that needs to do to get everything done, the right time, the right place. And you can just sit back and let the body do what it's here to do. And you can enjoy the ride. You can sit in the back seat of the mind, become the master of the mind, and just allow yourself to truly enjoy each moment of your existence, wherever you are, whoever you're with. You always have the option to dive into the heart, to stoke your fire with the breath, feeling the light increase, frequency and vibration, feeling the warmth of love inside you. It's always an option, any moment of your day. So, yes, take that in, digest that as deeply as you can, to every cell, fiber of your being. And just know that all is welcome here. Everything's welcome to enter this fire. The fire turns away nothing. No idea, no problem. Nothing gets turned away. So this is who you are. This is the essence of your being, is already this infinite light that welcomes everything, every experience. Whatever it is.
Well, that was, I know that we could sit here for another hour in this space, or another 2 or 3 or 2 or 3 lifetimes. Really, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it's almost an hour. We're supposed to stop. I don't want to stop. It is so amazing. And something you said was, I had like this gigantic aha. And you said, being the master, it's like being the master of your mind is completely the opposite of being in control. It's just allowing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just allowing, because you think, being the master of something is being at the control panel, but it's not. It's surrendering the control panel.
Yes, that's the other side of the coin.
Yes, and just that, and that we can have access to that exercise that you just did with us whenever we want. In the middle of the day when we are spinning like hamsters on the wheel, we can just stop and do exactly what you had us just do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's an infinite source, so it's like, we don't have to look for energy outside of us. All the energy we need is already inside. It's already available. So, and I think that, we let go of toxicities, we put into our mouths, into our minds, whatever we watch or listen to. It's like, if it's toxic, it's draining. And I think it's so essential to let go of anything that we're doing to ourselves, to really find this infinite source within, because it's, it can block us. I mean, I see it every day that people get consumed with, habits that don't serve them. And there are habits that can serve you, that will raise your vibration and will take you to these higher dimensions where you are, realizing you're a manifesting being who's creating your reality in each moment.
Well, if I know, I can't wait to hear what your offer is, because I know you created a special offer. But before you tell us one more habit. I mean, I've gotten so much from this already. I mean, just this exercise and knowing that I could do this on my own and being in the present moment. I still remember just feeling the water. I can't wait to go wash my hands. But so many of the other things that you've told us, can you give us, and gratitude, of course, and can you give us one more habit that we can develop, and then I have to hear about your offer?
Sure. So one of my favorite habits is, it's one of the first habits to raising your manifesting vibration, and it's real simple. It's just basically the moment you wake up in the morning, you start saying the word yes. And you just repeat the word yes, yes, yes. yes. And you just keep thinking yes and feeling yes. And what's yes feel like in your heart, in your hands, in your brain? Like, what does yes feel like in your gut? And you just get out of your bed and continue yes, yes, yes. And you jump up in the air and you just say yes to your life, to your past, to your future, to your relationships, to who's in your life right now. And saying yes to yourself. You look in the mirror and you continue saying that magical word. And the more you say it, the higher your vibration is going to skyrocket. Guaranteed. It's one of those things that, it's like the magic pill. In the Matrix,
yeah.
Like you're going to take this is the green pill. This is the special pill that goes beyond both pills, that is going to take you, beyond your inner world and your outer world, where you're going to find the truth of who you are, the real truth.
Well, I can't wait to do that. And it's so ironic because the name of my company for the last, 30 years is Yes to Success.
Right.
And you think I would know to do this, but this is the first time I heard. But that is so powerful. I am so excited to get up tomorrow morning and do that.
Yeah, and just, it'll just keep going, and it'll pop up. Like, the mind has this regurgitation property to it. So if you say it in the morning, you'll see by afternoon, the yes might gurgle up again. And you'll be like, oh, wow, I'm still yesing. And it's just this energy that it's not about denying life. It really is about embracing it. And the totality of our being, the totality includes that which we can't talk about, we don't want to think about. It says yes to it all and say it's all welcome. And that's where we really win, where we master this existence, is when we can say yes to everything and know that it's just, it's all part of the Grand Master play. It's all for our awakening. All the craziness we hear in the news and everything is all for our awakening. It's the popcorn popper, the heat under the popcorn that makes them all explode and from these tight little kernels into these big, expansive, puffy, light beings that we really are. Is that we really allow for that heat to just, expand our consciousness, where we're not judging things as wrong. We're saying, okay, there is a teaching, a teacher here, and what am I most needing to learn? And so we get out of the judgmental mind and we get into this yes factor, So,
yes.
So there's so much more in this program that I want everyone to experience it, because it really does work. And we have so many amazing testimonials from people even doing it for a few weeks. They start doing these 8 habits, and, it's just truly transformational. Like it's basically like, I call it like the manual for life. Like if we had this growing up as children, if we put in the schools, everyone would find tremendous success in whatever they wanted to do. It doesn't matter,
Right.
because you're actually coming from the foundational principles of what it really means to be an awakened being. And from that place, anything's possible. So one person wrote me a while back. She said what she did in chapter 9, the Manifesting Manual. She said she did everything that it said, and she got tremendous results. She manifested $500,000 from a TV show, got her dream car, and got engaged to a person that she believes is her soulmate. And she attributed it to just doing the exercises in chapter 9, which are these habits that will absolutely change your life. And I have a money-back guarantee if you do them for 6 days a week, 90 days in a row, that you will completely transform your life, guaranteed. Because
I actually was looking at some of the testimonials too, and I could not. I mean, I was like, financial abundance, the perfect career, the ideal relationship, and people were saying it wasn't even after the full 90 days. Some people said after a couple of weeks. Somebody said after a couple of days, it wasn't $500,000, but they manifested $10,000.
Right.
Or a contract that somebody said would take years to go through because it was so big that she went to the negotiating table and boom, they said, okay, we're ready. And she was floored. And it was just after a few weeks of doing the what's in the manual. I just absolutely could not believe it. And it's not just the manual. There's the 4 ebooks and the 12 manifesting meditations and the messages and all of that comes with your package. And I am so grateful that you're giving it to our listeners for a fraction of what it would be if all of the components were bought separately. I know it's about $350 worth of enlightening material. And if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, you said that our people can receive it for $97. Is that true?
Yep. Because I want everyone to be able to, afford it and to also benefit, from the investment, because this is an investment in your future and who you are. And I'd give it away free if people would actually do it for free. But I find that, I give it away for free and people don't value things necessarily that are free. If they actually put a little something into it, then we're like, okay, I'm actually going to do this program. I'm going to do it 6 days a week, like you said, and see what happens.
Yeah.
And that's where all these testimonials come from, is just people just saying, okay, let's try it. Let's just go for it and see what happens.
Yeah, and I have to jump in one more time because I could not believe when you said to me, I mean, not only it's manifesting things on the material level, but self-confidence and enlightened relationships and really actually regenerating new healthy cells in the body. I mean, every area of life. But what really blew my mind is that you said, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, is that you give a guarantee that if people do the program, and it's not every day, 6 days a week, and a short period of time each day, that if they don't attract their heart's desire in the 90 days, whether it's the ideal relationship or the career or the money or the whatever it is that they are dreaming about in their hearts, even if they put that desire on the back burner, they could put it on the front burner. And if it doesn't manifest for them, you actually give them their money back.
Right. Yeah. 100%. We'll give you all your money back if you do the program. It's vital that you're honest with yourself. And that's critical for anything in life. If we really have true integrity, then we're really going to show up for our relationships, for our dreams. And when you just apply these secrets, these habits, it really is like magic. You're just raising your frequency. And it's science. When it comes down to it, manifesting is a science. It's an art and a science. And it's just raising the vibration to such a degree where you have to attract whatever that desire is, whatever that thing inside of you that say, I don't have this yet. The universe wants to fulfill the gap. It loves doing that. That's its job, is like, oh, there's somebody who's a little kid that doesn't have the ice cream cone that he wants. Like, oh, here, let's just provide it just because there's that yearning. And so when your frequency is so high, it just shows up. It's synchronicity at its finest. And it happens on its own accord. You meet the right person, the person talks to that person, and said, oh, yeah, well, here's that job offer that you were only dreaming of that was possibly, maybe you might get one someday, but it's here now. So it's like, it kind of works like that. It's just, I find that, I get emails every day where people send me like testimonials, something happened to them. And it keeps blowing my mind. I'm like, okay, this is really real. Like, it takes me back.
And I want to tell people the URL to go to, so that people can take a look, because I know they're chomping at the bit to know how they can take a look at this and get it for themselves.
Simply click on the special offer button on this page.
And although this is definitely a new transformation strategy, what you're offering, what I am absolutely living to find out is what is the 1,500-year-old manifesting secret, which is also in your program that you said is 100% guaranteed to turn you into a master of manifestation. So I am really curious to find out what that 1,500-year-old manifesting secret is and everything else. So again,
if you haven't done it yet, just click on the special offer button on this page to see for yourself what an amazing package this is. You will be so glad you did.
Jafree, oh my gosh, you are amazing. Do you have like one parting thought that you want to share with everybody before we sign off?
Just be gentle with yourself. Life throws us curveballs sometimes. We can be really hard on ourselves. Be really, really gentle with how you're treating yourself, your body. You know, the more gentle you can be with you, the more gentle other people will be with you.
Well, you are an angel on earth. I feel honored to have spent this hour with you. I really hope that, because people have felt, I'm sure they feel the high vibration of who you are just during this hour. I'm sure people are going to hang up from this call and just continue to feel uplifted and full of light. And I know that by obtaining your program that they'll be able to carry that energy with them every day when they do all of the tapes and everything that you provide for them to manifest their dreams. Thank you so much for being with us. Also, I'd like to say thank you to all of our listeners for spending time with us. I look forward to sharing more new effective transformation strategies with everyone in the coming days. Again, Jafree, thank you so much.
Thank you, Debra.